answer home.
Well, my background, I'm from Southern Illinois originally, Carbondale, a town called Carbondale. It's about 3 hours north of Nashville. Way down in the bottom of the state near the Kentucky border. Grew up there, went to high school in a west suburb of Chicago. I ran track in high school, and then I ended up going to college in Los Angeles and running track for UCLA. After that, I ran professional track for a while, and then became a personal trainer and a high school track coach in LA, and did that for a long time. And then eventually, one of my former athletes from Brentwood School, which is where I coached in LA, former athletes who was out of college, invited me to go to a country line dance bar in Orange County, California. In Fullerton, California, called In Cahoots. And I had heard about it. I was already into the country music thing, the cowboy thing. I already had this style going on and everything. I always wanted to get into the country dancing. I had heard about In Cahoots, hadn't been, went with him one time and just fell in love with it right away. I saw some amazing line dancing and two-stepping going on in there, just a cool crowd. And I decided right away, I'm doing this. You know, I get that question a lot. The way I answer it, you know, I'm not a rancher, you know, I'm not a bull rider, I'm not a rodeo rider, but if that's what a real cowboy is, some people think that's the case. I have herded cattle before. I grew up riding horses. We had horses growing up. So, you know, I have experienced that lifestyle. I don't do that at the moment, but you know what I say, this is my identity. I got that from Bob Marley, actually, an interview they did with Bob Marley back in the, I guess in the 70s. And they asked him about Rastafari, and what that is all about. And he said, it's my identity, man. That's what he said. And boom, that hit me. I'm like, that's what it is. Cowboy is my style, it's my identity. I love to claim it, I always claim it. And you know, it's not a costume. You know, I've always had rhythm. I get it from my dad. My dad's a really good dancer. I've always been able, even though it was just freestyle dancing growing up and stuff, or in college and whatnot, I knew I had rhythm. And so once I learned about 5 or 6 line dances, that rhythm came into play and I got pretty good at the dances. So for me, it was something I was good at. I'm a performer. I see myself more as a performer than a competitor. That's always how I've been, even when I ran track. And so I noticed, okay, I'm pretty good at this. I'm gonna go do it. I'm meeting a lot of cool people. And it just, the dopamine release you get when you're having that much fun, country dancing, is just amazing. So I got addicted to it just like a lot of people did. There's hundreds, if not thousands. So line dancing is not only country. There's country line dancing, but there's a whole larger picture of line dancing. And country dancing, we just pull from a handful of those dances and do them in the country bars. So line dancing is not all country based. So I know 40 dances. I've counted it up. I know 40 dances, and I've got about 10 that I really like to do. And then I've got about 10 or 12 that I like to teach. A good teaching dance is something, in my opinion, depending on the level of the student, is going to be a beginner dance, but a little bit of more of an exciting beginner dance, so it's not too dull. So just one step up from basic beginner, and something where I can clearly tell them where to put their feet and when to put it there, which is how I teach. Sure, you know, line dancing is not universal. For whatever reason, that's something we're trying to change. We're trying to show the different dances so people can see what they're doing in California or see what they're doing in South Florida, which is another good place for line dancing. I would say the whole country music scene or society in California is a lot different than the country music scene here in Nashville. They've kind of got their own world. They've got their own bands out there. It's more similar to Texas in California. They're cowboy style. The cowboy hats, the cowboy boots, the belt buckle, a lot of two-stepping, a lot of line dancing, big-time country fans, people who really like it. People who go to Stagecoach Music Festival, people who go to Country Thunder in Arizona. And then here in Nashville, it's a little bit different. You know, it's kind of the country artists and the people that are actually in the industry are here. And I would say the style of people around here is a little more Southern, a little more camo hat, you know, a little more redneck. Yeah. And out west, once you get out west to Texas and Oklahoma, you start to see the cowboy hats. And people just don't realize that there is a huge country music society in California, Southern California and Northern California. And so that's where I get my style from. You don't see too many cowboys in Nashville, believe it or not. You know, you're free to dress however you'd like. I always suggest flat shoes of some sort. Cowboy boots work for me. High heels are not suggested. Tennis shoes, something flat. But I also think kind of dressing up for the occasion is fun. Sometimes people come in the boots and they show up in the boots and they, have the tops and the shorts or the jeans, whatever it is. And I think that adds to the experience. But flat shoes, minimum. But a lot of times the girls like to wear the boots and the cutoff jean shorts, tank top, maybe a cowboy hat, cowgirl hat. And same with the guys. We usually do boots and jeans, belt buckle, either a button up or a t-shirt and a cowboy hat. That's interesting. Okay, so most cowboy boots are leather sole with a rubber heel. So when you dance in those kinds of boots, you would use your heel to grip the ground when you need to change directions, and then you would use the leather to move after you've, made that grip. When I first learned to line dance, it was in leather sole boots, and the particular pair I had were not the best. And I know like the fourth or fifth time I went line dancing is when I actually started to get it, where I could actually do dances, and my feet were killing me at the end of the night. And I was going line dancing again the next night, and they were still hurting my feet. So I had to pull out the only boots that I had. They were my horseback riding boots. They're rubber sole, square toe. I thought these are the only ones that my feet can handle tonight. So I put those on, and they were great. And then I always line danced in square toe, Ariat rubber sole boots, and I got used to getting the grip, and that's what helps me dance. But when I teach, that grip is too much doing that 10 times a week. So I go with leather sole Tecovas. So basically, we try to be very welcoming. Okay, we're here to entertain. We're here to host. And we're here to make everybody have a good time, and they're relying on us to do that. So one thing we want to do is just be very hospitable, welcoming, and make everybody feel comfortable right off the bat. So as soon as they come in for the lesson, let's say it's in the studio, we're letting them know right away where they can put their stuff. Welcome, hello, nice to meet you. We show them around wherever they need, the restrooms, and we do the talking. And I tell my instructors, like, we have to talk. We can't rely on them to talk. We don't have to bounce off the walls with energy, but we're the ones who are setting the tone. They're relying on us to tell them. They don't know what's going on. The guests don't know what's going on yet, so we have to take charge with that. So we usually welcome them in, get them situated, and then I give my little speech. I tell them about myself, my background, and then I just explain the ins and outs of the lesson, that we have tripods, that we put phones on so they can video the dances. We usually learn 3 dances, and that's it. So yeah, then we get it going. And one thing that the people really love about the lesson, which is something I didn't think of until a couple months ago, is the speakers that we have in the studio are pretty loud. The studio's got elevated ceilings, so there's a really good acoustics in there. People don't ever get to crank music and listen to loud, good music like that in privacy. They can go to a bar or a club and hear it, but there's other people around. They have their own room where they can listen to loud music and just no shame, So that's a factor as well. Yeah, because when you hit play in that first song, boom, what is it, Cotton Eye Joe? They're like, oh, yeah.
That's amazing.
Just to see them become happy, see their happiness, see them go from 0 to 60. They come in, they don't know who I am. They're quiet. They don't know how the lesson's going to go. So all of a sudden I can see in the mirror, I'm not always teaching in the studio, so there's not always a mirror, but I can just hear and I can see people's reactions. And throughout that first dance, by the end of that first dance, all of a sudden their energy's up and I just made them have fun. And that just means the world to me. I don't get tired of teaching the same dances, listening to the same songs, because I always have a new group getting that similar reaction. It's just something I'm good at. I've done other jobs before in California or wherever, and not necessarily good at sales, cold calling, stuff like that. It's not my thing, but entertaining people. Well, my vision is to just really make line dancing universal. Okay, not just they're always going to do dances different in Florida than they do in California. Texas is always going to be a partner dance, 2-step, 1-step dominated country dance scene. But I just want to let everybody know that line dancing is cool. It was big in the 90s, and then there was a changing of the generation, and it kind of died down. In Nashville, it used to be huge country dancing in the 90s. But then that died down, and then it came back around 2010 in California with a younger group. And it was amazing society out there. I'm trying to show the world that line dancing is fun, and they can jump in. And I want to, I have plans in 2022 just to continue growing. I want to expand to Austin, Texas. I want to expand potentially to Las Vegas with the same concept of what I'm doing now with private lessons and hosting and putting on country dance events. And I think my goal, not sure what year, but my goal is going to be to open my own studio in Nashville. Similar to the studio I use now, but more customized to our theme. Western, decor, but a big line dance studio, and then smaller studios off and having lessons, but not a bar. I'm not really, at this point, a bar or restaurant is just a whole nother, I maybe would partner with somebody on it, but somebody that wants to handle that sector, because that is a whole nother world. But right now, I like the idea of a studio and having people come there during the daytime. I really do enjoy it. So once I start expanding into other cities like Austin or Vegas, I would eventually like to have this Urban Cowboy brand, theme, concept solidified, and to where I can franchise it out to anybody who wants it. Anybody who wants to open up an Urban Cowboy in their town, we provide them with the tools, the platform of how to do it. And then they just apply the same thing that we apply here. Yeah, so basically, I come from a track background. I was fast since I was 5 years old. When I was a little kid, I could run pretty quick. And my dad is from Chicago, and he ran track at Southern Illinois University. That's how we got to Carbondale. But he was an NCAA champion in the 400 in college. So he was fast, and I was fast. And then I moved to Elmhurst from Carbondale, went to York High School specifically to run track for Joe Newton, who's a famous track coach who coached from 1960 to 2015. And he brought the best out of me. It was the best training. And then I got a scholarship to UCLA. I was recruited by quite a few schools. USC also. I didn't know the difference between USC and UCLA. My coach said that UCLA is in Westwood and it's a beautiful part of the city, so I went there. Ran track, had a iffy freshman year, transitioning to a college student. Didn't necessarily take the best care of myself freshman year. Coaches weren't too happy about that. So they really laid into me at the end of that season, and it got me going. Sophomore year, I came back, really, did well. As All-American, well, no, I wasn't All-American. I was All-American my sophomore year in the 400 hurdles. Then I became team captain my junior year and didn't make All-American because I got hurt right before the NCAA championships. I pulled my hamstring. Devastating. I probably would have been second place in the NCAA meet had I not gotten hurt. Because the time for second, I would have beat that guy, So that was disappointing. But then my senior year, I came back and I was team captain again. And this time I did make the NCAA meet. I was 7th or 8th place again and All-American again. My first year out of college, I qualified for the U.S. Olympic trials. 400 meter hurdles was my event. And 110 hurdles. I was a hurdler and I ran the flat 400. But I qualified for Olympic trials in the 400 hurdles. Ran pretty well there. I think I was 11th overall out of about 30 400 hurdlers, but you got to be top 3 to make the team. A couple years after that, I had some ups and downs with pro track, and then I came back one more time for the next Olympic trials, gave it a shot, had a good season, had a horrible race at the Olympic trials, and then I was done. You know, that was 17 years of track running from 5th grade to when I stopped, and I was, okay, that's enough. I've run enough. I've been in the top of the mountain. And so I stopped and I started coaching track, and now I really don't run unless it's Orange Theory. That's it. Yeah. So yeah, that's my track background. So it was important to me at the time, but what's interesting is I loved track, but I love line dancing more. Like, this part of my life, this is what I like, this is what I enjoy, number one. I would say we have a guaranteed product, almost guaranteed. We have perfect rating on Google. Everybody enjoys it. We've never had anyone not enjoy it. It's, you know, something you can almost guarantee you're gonna like. And we would love to entertain anyone who's interested. Come to Nashville, and we want to be a part of your experience here.